Hello, good afternoon. Hello. Sorry. So, Morweni. Ooh. Sunny Bonani. Hello. Goeiemorgen. So, today is section knowledge. But before we get to section knowledge, I am really excited because why? I got this amazing thing that is supposed to help us learn about sex. And I'm so excited to finally show you because it arrived yesterday. Actually, it arrived yesterday, but someone made it for me. And I requested this thing and it was made. And I'm so excited to share it with you. It is really weird. So brace yourself. It is cray cray. And I just absolutely love it. And it's the colors of Take It Off, so it's just super excited explosions on the inside. Anyway, so are you ready? Are you ready for what I'm about to show you? Am I just... Okay, here we go. Here goes nothing. It's a vagina pillow slash, yeah, not a pillow, not a puppet, it's a pillow, it's a vagina pillow. And look, the best part is the hood goes up and it goes back down and it has like the vagina canal, how amazing. And it has those labia thingies and it has, okay, so this is the clitoris, this little button over here, and then this is your urethra, and then supposed or actual G-spot thingy, and then there's a vagina canal, that thing there inside, and then here's your thingies, and then so excited. I'm sorry. So this is going to be here, and it'll come in handy. Like you'll see as the week progresses, we'll get to know more about the pillow. And if you want to suggest a name for the pillow, then feel free to suggest a name. That'll be really cool. So, sexual knowledge, and this is, I know, a very broad term, a very, very vague sexual knowledge. What is that? Also, you're gonna see my hair like this, like every other week, because this is just the easiest thing to do with all the hair that I have. And so sexual knowledge, really, really broad, really vague. I just wanted to, I didn't want to assume that people know all that sex is and all that it comes with. That's why I kind of wanted it to be a week where we learn things that maybe we knew or maybe we didn't know. And if we did know, then maybe it's something new. And I am hoping that we'll have a fantastic little week where we get to know things. Tomorrow we're doing terminologies because today we're going to speak about so many things. And on Thursday, family planning. Wednesday, family planning. On Thursday, we'll take a bit of a break and we'll end the week with sexual hygiene. Again, another thing. And it's not just about peeing before and after sex. There is a lot of other things to go with it as well. So, sexual knowledge. So save the environment. Don't print paper, electronic stuff. Cool, this is my notes for the research that I did for sexual knowledge today. And I'm really excited because originally I called this episode in sexual knowledge, the week of sexual knowledge. It is called, Where Does Our Sex Come From? And yeah, I'd asked for a sociologist to come and speak to us about early human behavior and sex, but we'll try again some other time. And we'll redo sexual knowledge in a really amped up, really cool week sometime again. But where do we get our sex from? Where do we get our definitions of sex from? Is the light? But how am I going to see? Anyway, so what is sex? I don't know if anybody's ever heard of this man called Albert Kinsley. So Albert Kinsley, I think he's American from what I remember. He somehow, besides his love for bees, he did experiments concerning sex. And he did like over 5,000 experiments on sex and people. And basically what he discovered was there's sex, the verb, the physical stuff of it. So what is sex basically? So it's the verb. It's the physical process of engaging in sexual acts or intercourse. And then there's the biological one, which is the anatomical parts of the human body, designations of like male, female, and all of those other things, which is also very different from gender, and also very different from sexual orientation. So those are terms, definitions that we'll speak about tomorrow in terminology, because there's all of these terms these days that I myself didn't even know about. And it would be cool if we could all just get to know all of those terms and things that we see on a daily basis that is used on social media and things like that we don't know about. So, and then there are these, I don't know what to call them. They like long ago, again, like probably very long time ago. I don't know if anybody's ever heard of Masters and Johnson. So, to my understanding, Masters was a gynecologist, and Johnson, his wife, was a sexologist. And what they did was, again, over experiments, because how else are we supposed to gather things with research? Yes, Masters and Johnson. So Masters and Johnson did this experiment as well, and they wanted to get to also know what sex is, but what sex compromises of, like, what is it, I don't want to say deal with, but like, what is sex made up of, even better phrasing. And so they basically had like thousands of people come into their, let's say, studio place, and they engaged in sexual activities, and then they recorded them, like those, those ECG stickers, those heart rate things, your breathing, your blood pressure, all of those things. So they did that on people, and they discovered that there's a sexual response cycle, which is really cool and also really weird at the same time. So in their research, they found out that there are these 4 stages within the sexual response cycle. And they have, it's excitement, plateau, orgasm, and resolution. And resolution, you might think sounds a bit cray-cray, but wait till we get there. So in these 4 stages, they happen like in succession, so after each other. So it's from excitement, you then move to plateau, and from plateau, we then move to orgasm. And then from orgasm, we go down to resolution. And in excitement, they said that blood basically is rushing to your genitalia, your body parts. The things are flowing, it's getting heated. And, very sorry. Plateau is where the blood is like finally there. And, it's basically saying another way of saying arousal. It's like the blood is rushing in excitement, and then in plateau, the blood is arrived. It's there. It's like, hey. So there's basically arousal of either the penis, the vagina, all of those things. And then in that, your breathing increases, your pulse increases. And then they get to orgasm, and in orgasm, the stage of orgasm, it is where like the peak of the pulses, the breathing rates, the heart rates, and then it is also where all the muscles in the body contract. And so in a biologically, in a male, they would secrete sperm, and in a female, your secretion. I was looking at the name earlier on and I can't pronounce it. I'm sorry. And so that's what the orgasm is, the excretion of these fluids, bodily fluids. And then the 4th stage, resolution, which sounds like resolution. Okay. So resolution, it's when it's all over, you've hit that peak. So basically it's like excitement, excitement, plateau, then orgasm, and then we come down to resolution again. So it's basically where, I don't want to say your resting heart rate, but it's where everything like returns back to normal. Your blood flow, your blood circulation becomes regular, normal again. And everything returns to this okay thing. Like I know in law there's a term where it's back to your original position. If you know that term, then okay. And this is also in this resolution, they call it refractory period. Like on your phone, when your phone is going tatty or crazy, and then you hit factory settings, this is what I thought of when I read it. I was like, that, like the button factory settings, everything goes back to normal. And in this refractory period, it is where, like, it then takes, you are then unable to orgasm again for, like, say, in a male would be like for another hour, another day, another whatever. And in a female, it's said that that refractory period in a female is much less than it is for a male. So really interesting things. And so that is what Masters and Johnson said sex was. Sex is this 4 stages of things happening. And obviously, as research has evolved from then till now, we see that people have said that no, like, sex doesn't always involve orgasm, or it doesn't always, like, there are other things that either influence those things or make those things up. But this in itself is the act of sex. This is it's the excitement, the plateau arousal, the orgasm, and then down to resolution. And those are just biologically and anatomically what sex is. However, that is what some scientists people said long ago, and they probably aren't alive anymore. But what is sex in 2020? It can be and is so many things. And that's why I thought we would go back to, and also a reminder, oh my word. So there is this thing called cliteracy that we'll speak of at another time as well. But in cliteracy, they speak about the whole is not the whole. And I'm so glad I have this, so I can show you what they mean. The whole as in HOLE. This one, the vagina canal, where the penis usually goes inside. I could actually... So this whole is not the whole. Like, sex isn't just about penetration and then that's it. No. And like, this is only the biological side of what sex is. We haven't even touched on the part of what sex is in terms of emotionals and feels and all of those valid things. It's just, okay, penetration, those things. That's biologically, that's all that we've gotten to right now. But there are, yes, wait. So, this isn't because I want us to become sexologists or say that, hey, I know plateau and all of those things. It's just so that we can know these things. Scramble brain. Okay, so where does our sex come from? So I was thinking we could revisit how in like human biology there's this human development. And there are these stages where we go through as human beings. And so some people argue that there's like 5, 7, 8 stages. I've chosen 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. But like maybe we'll use less of those 6 stages. And so within these stages, like, so I'm going to tell you what they are. It's early stages from 2 to 6. Early childhood. Middle childhood from 7 to 11. Adolescence from 12 to 18, and early adulthood from 19 to 40. I was like, what? 40, anyway. And then middle childhood. I put my glasses on so I can read properly, but I'm not. Okay? So middle adulthood from 41 to 65. And did I say adulthood? I hope so. Late adulthood from 66 onward. And so in these various stages, we get different things that either inform or shape our definitions of sex, or what sex is to us, or what pleasure is to us, or how our definitions of sex either evolve from one stage to another. And I thought I would touch on the fact that within these stages, there are different things that influence us, that shape these things. I just said that. So, for instance, and you may not think this is an example of how it informs our sex definition of sex, but for instance, say you are in the early childhood or middle childhood stage, and let's say you're 8, 9, and you're just in the lounge watching television. Say Goku and his friends are on. What's that? Dragon Ball Z, ne? That is on, and you're just there, and you're fiddling with yourself, and you're just laying there on the couch and you're just fiddling, and someone comes in, your family member comes in, and they're like, hey, don't do that, that's not nice, and they scold you for this, and then you just from then think that like touching yourself is not a good thing at all. It's bad, it's ugly, it's dirty, it's a no, it's a ewy thing. That is, I even was very surprised that that is a form of trauma. That it am I speaking too fast? I'm sorry, I'm really excited because I got my vagina pillow, and this week is just much better than sexual trauma of 2 weeks ago. So, I'll slow down. That informs how you see yourself and sex, and also how you see yourself and sex is very important and two very also different things. So now all of a sudden you feel the shame and dirtiness of my body and me and sex. Then how will you feel? Imagine someone else seeing your body and you and engaging in the act of sex. It's not going to be a really great thing. So you take that from your 8-year-old, 9-year-old self, and you go to high school now, where people they bully because they have nothing better to do with their lives, or they say stuff because of the way you dress, because you want to cover your body, because you don't feel okay with your body. Your self-esteem is just tanked down, and your confidence level is just not where it should be or would like it to be. And your definition of sex then just becomes terrible. It's just ugly, no. And then you matriculate, you get to grade 12 or wherever biology, I don't know, where does that start, grade 10? Sorry, I don't remember. And you get to biology and they speak about sex and you're just like, it's crappy. And then eventually you get to university, inshallah, get to university, and now there's X videos and there's Wi-Fi and it's not blocked and you can search anything you want to. And then it's just, you're confronted with a whole lot of things that is like, what is life? What is sex? And your definition of sex, they then maybe becomes this, oh, women are just okay, or men are just okay, we can just have sex with anything and anybody. And that's not going to help you or your partner or your future, whatever it is. So, like, I really didn't think that something that it happens in when you're 9 years old could inform the way you see sex, like, forever. So that was interesting. And then, so before we get to the other examples, I wanted to go through. So in these stages, there are other things that influence our definitions, but also there is the social, biological, and psychological factors that influence us within these stages, or perhaps they do, and then later on something else comes along and influences that, and it's just a cycle of either changing, evolution, or like perpetual change, or from one thing to another, or it's just stuck in a particular thing. It's just stuck in trauma and crappiness and horribleness. So in social, there is economic status and cultural and political was such an important one because, like, for instance, the most controversial thing, abortion, it's been governed by those people who make the laws, unfortunately, the Choice Act of 1999, I think. Like, there's just so many things that prohibit us from having abortions openly. But I did read an article last week saying that 50% of abortions happen behind bootleg, like, backdoor things, like you don't go to the government to have a TOP, termination of pregnancy. It's happening out, like, the omidrai, like, how do I say that? Like, not in a cool, accepting, healthy, cleanly environment. It's like those posters that we see either in a train or on the side of the, like, lampposts that are abortion. The thing is, and if only we can have more people that are like, hey, pro-abortion and choice, because it should be a choice what you do with your body, and those choices should be made with people should be made by people who have wombs. We'll speak about that another time. So it's like those things, like politically, and then also society. Like right now, we know that our environment and our climate right now is just really crappy because in our country, at least South Africa, we are seeing women and children on every corner end up dead, and it is, yeah, raped and dead. It's just, it makes my skin crawl. It's not very nice. So these are like the social factors that would influence how we see sex. And literally, because like people, young women, young men are seeing the news. They're seeing that people are ending up dead, so they're gonna be like, "Oh, is that really? Should I be? No." And then also because there's those things happening right now, and also coronavirus. Do you know that coronavirus will indirectly affect how we see sex, like going forward, or even not going forward, but right now? Like I read somewhere that I've been reading a lot, so like it's just a big mess in my head. That like sex is kind of evolved again once more because apparently there's been a skyrocket of people flooding to porn sites, and again we'll talk about porn at a later stage. But it's not education. Please know it's not education. It's there for other reasons, and so a lot of people are seeing these things, and also when we see these things, we monkey see, monkey do. What is that? Yo. Hey. Where's my English? Where's my words? Anyway, so yeah, those things inform how we see sex, and because of coronavirus, and also like long this. Can you show? Hi, who I can't pronounce your name. Show. What would you like me to show? Like this whole week, we're going to be showing a lot of things about the anatomy of the male and the female, and I will do so. Not today, unfortunately. Yeah, sure, definitely. We're definitely tomorrow is dedicated to terminology, and with terminology, there will be other thingies so you can see what we're speaking about, what I'm speaking about, and I have no idea what I was saying. Social stuff, social factors, yes. So, then there's biological factors and medications, antidepressants, chronic medications, and their side effects affect your libido. And that kind of informs, I don't want to say informs, but shapes how you see sex. Because you might think that your libido is up there and maybe your partner's libido is not. And then you're thinking, oh, what's wrong with me? And you might not know it's because your partner is on medication, chronic medication, pain medication, or chronic medication. And then that is the cause of their stuff. And that's like, ugh. And also, it might not even be your partner, it might just be you. You might think, am I normal? Everybody else around me is, this term I'm going to use, horny, and I'm not. What is like, am I okay? What's happening with me? Am I crazy? Why am I not feeling like doing the things that they are? I'm just here at home reading books. So trauma, but this is a biological factor of your body reacting to trauma. And so also a biological factor would be sleep. I know, like sleep. What? Sleep informs how we see sex, which is, when I read it, I was also like, how on earth can sleep affect? Because sleep, like I feel like sleep is an indirect factor of how we see sex. Because of, what is the stuff that man said? So basically, it's your sleep makes you do a lot of things, either the deprivation of sleep or too much sleep or not sleep. But sleep also goes with a psychological factor of anxiety and depression, but we'll get to that now. So there's also menstrual cycle, periods, what else? No. Then that and hormones go together. Yeah. And then substance abuse, or not even abuse, just recreational. Like we see that cannabis is becoming used more is right? It's being used more often in society. There we go. There is now the CBD tablets, tinctures, ointments, oils that you can put on your tongue, under your tongue. You can use to sleep. You can use for even to heighten your libido, or you can use it to increase your appetite, or you can use it for aches and pains. There's like CBD is becoming more and more popular, and also there's CBD with the THC or without it. But CBD is the one without the THC. But yeah, we'll have someone speak to us about CBD stuff with THC and without those things. And then those psychological factors that influence how we see sex or what sex is to us and things is body image. This one was really important for me, like this last few. Body image. Obviously, not everybody's body image is amazing all the time. But yeah, body image, how we see ourselves, how we see other people. And then thoughts and beliefs about sex. And I wrote here culturally as well. Because within our thoughts and beliefs, we have people who are traditionalists, we have people who are culturalists, or should I make the distinction? I'm not so sure. And then we have people who just don't believe stuff, or just believe that this sex before marriage is a no-no, and that's okay. It's fine to believe that. We'll take that. And then both sex and church stuff. We have Sex and God on the 21st of September. I will give the dates for this month of September later on. And there is stress. How cool is that? Stress, another biological factor that informs or shapes the way we see sex. It can be good stress and bad sex. I know that, I don't know how old you guys are, but like in life orientation, there was good sex, there was good stress and bad stress, and there was like a whole thing on it. Stress can also inform how we see sex. And then there's depression and anxiety, a really important one. And we're doing sex and mental health in a few weeks' time, but it's in September. I know it's in September. And there's sexual shame, that I the example of the 9-year-old person I made. Like that shame that informs how we see sex, like literally our definitions of sex. Like, is it going to be open, happy, all of those things. And I'm sure I mentioned trauma in biological ways, your body reacting to the trauma, but now psychological would be like also reacting to it in a like all those, like a chemical imbalance again, like hormones. It's just, they all just flow together. And there's grief and loss, which is impacts sex and the way we see it. And also really interesting what I had read about how grief and loss can change how you see sex, is because, for instance, this is the most basic example that I had seen when I had read the things. It was that the loss of either someone significant, like a mother or father, or significant others in a partner. And I also didn't think that would be such a big thing, it would impact your sex. Like, why would you see sex differently because you have lost somebody? And I think I should link or give the articles or things that I had read for the research for this one. And this is just like quick punchy things that I can tell you. And if you want to talk about it more, we can talk about it some more. But I just wanted to make you guys aware of these particular things. And then there is sexual preference and interest. Again, sexual orientation, very different from gender, very different from designation biologically, anatomically, as men, male, female, and there was intersex. I forgot about that one. Sorry. And so all of these things, I know I said so many things. I said that there were factors that influence how we see sex and what sex is to us, and those were social, biological, and psychological. So within those three things, there are like a lot of things that I just mentioned now. And then either one or more of those things influence, shape, and inform the way we see sex today in the 21st century. Because I'm sure in can I be rude and say for sex, there was no internet, or if there was, it wasn't as colorful and fast as it is right now. So there wasn't like a click of a button, X videos, I can see people having sex. It was maybe, I shared a British textbook in like a very long time ago saying about a woman must just, if the man was put on makeup and if the man wants it, then you must just say, okay, and then breathe. And then when he goes to sleep, you can get up and do your hair. And anyway, so those are things that, so school, but we'll get to school now. So these are things like this, so that would go under social. And then within the stages of development, if we go back to what I was saying, like those 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 stages of human development, they are just in these stages of our lives, there are these factors, those 3 factors that I said. And then within those 3 factors, those things that influence how we see sex. So that book that I shared about, the English textbook, said about sex. So when I was in primary school, I know that I was separated from the boys and the girls when the boys were separated, and they said, "Hey, you guys are gonna have your periods, aka menstruation, and hey, here are some pads and tampons, and this is what it looks like. This is what you do, and then cool." That was it. And another lady said also, "We don't know what the boys were told, and the boys don't know what we were told." So it was like we weren't told about like ovulation. This is what causes menstruation, or not causes, but like in the menstrual cycle, there's ovulation, there's this and this, and there is it happens on the 14th day. Either the corpus luteum comes and and then you have your period on the 28th day. Like nothing of that. It was just here you go. You have periods. There's tampons and there's pads. That's it. And I just wish we had known a bit more. And I also wish, I say this a lot that to my friends and stuff, I wish people had told us the feels, the emotions, all of those things that come with sex. And I mean the before, the during, and the after. Because I'm sure in school, there's hormones, there's puberty, there's this term horny thrown around a lot. And we think, oh my god, sex, I just want to do it and get it over with. Or oh my god, I want to have sex because apparently this and this one is doing it, or this one and this one, whatever the case may be in your high school, primary school, and then we just there's sex is just such a big thing, and then sometimes when we get there, it's like very underwhelming or very overwhelming to the point where either we then suffer anxiety or depression of it, because it is an act that can cause trauma and anxiety and result in so right. This mouse. Thank you, Jeff, for the mouse. So it's just the example of school, like though, and I'm sure school would fit under middle childhood, adolescence. That then informs the way we see sex then. And I had another example. Television. And obviously now we have Apple TV, Amazon TV, and Netflix. And I asked a friend of mine, like, what is sex to you? How did you get to know about sex? And she had answered, movies, television. And she gave me a whole list of things. And I also then asked her, what is pleasure to you? And we don't often enough in society make the distinction between what is sex and what is pleasure. And the fact that there are two different things that, yeah, supposedly go with one thing, but we also find pleasure in other things like reading and stuff like that. But those are the way we see sex. So obviously we know the television has also evolved in the times from black and white silent movies to these amazing movies like, what is it? 50 Shades of Grey. That movie has literally, I don't know when it came out, I can't remember, has informed or created a generation or a population of people who think that that is sex. Like those, like it was a book, it started out as a book. From what we read to what we then see, those things taint our taint our, like when you put rose-colored glasses on things, on sex and whatnot, and then like that book did that. Wait, what example is that? So you know how a horse has blinkers on, right? To only see this way. Like, yeah, so it doesn't see anything on the side, it just sees the stuff in front of it. And it does what it's supposed to do. It trots, it gallops, whatever. And then, so we see sex as, first we see it as taboo, don't do it, shameful, yeah, donkey, no. And then all of a sudden 50 Shades of Grey comes. And we're like, what? Pew, pew, pew. Sex is, it's depicted as, this domination and being, what is the other one? Sub. I knew that those are the terms. And what is the other one? Like it's just seen as this whirlwind of only a man who has so many $1 million can do. And also this movie 365, they really do in the slightest or the most biggest ways possible. They come and they inform how we see sex. And we might not pay attention to it right now. You may think, oh wow, that man is super sexy, or that guy or that lady is sexy AF. And then later on we'll think, hey, I want to try that. Or, wow, this is 7 minutes. I want to try that, or let's do this, or oh, wow, that is so sexy the way he did that. What if it's not? Like, what if that isn't how we should see sex? It's just being portrayed like that. And it's not for educational purposes. It's not so that we can know that this is what sex is, and then from there make a decision that either suits us right now or changes the way we see sex. So yeah, all of so that was books and television. And then parents, my last example, I promise. The last example was parents. And I said that talk or the absence thereof. So some of us would have been lucky enough to have parents that said, hey, let's sit down and talk about the birds and the bees. Great stuff. And some of us didn't have that. Some of us had our parents come and say, here, read a book. Don't have sex once you get married. Don't do it. Don't come home with a pregnant girl or whatever else. Don't come home pregnant. And then that's it. And I know that sometimes the lack thereof of the talk is also because we learn our definitions of sex from our parents, whether they give us the sex talk or not. Because they obviously saw from their parents, and indirectly we then get what they got. Because they never got a sitting down or a lecture or a video or YouTube video that said, hey, this is what sex is, this is how sex changes and evolves and whatnot, and don't have sex, and if you do have sex, please be safe. There are male, female, and so many condoms and contraceptives and things like that. They didn't have that. So in turn, we just get what they got or what they didn't get. And this also, this also informs how we see sex, because it's what we got from our parents. Why does it always rain when I go live? This is not right. Sorry. So very funny. So yeah, this our parents, the people we look up to, the people we absolutely love and adore, the people who give us what we need and provide these things for us, can either make or break how we see sex. And it's not like in a bad way that I'm putting our parents in. It's just that we learn from them. We learn like how to love, how to walk, how to all of these things from our parents. And we also learn our definitions of sex from our parents, whether it be directly or indirectly. So that was my last example, our parents. Thank you for coming to my TED Talk, to my Sexual Knowledge Part 1. Tomorrow we'll be speaking about terminologies, because I'm sure I said a lot of words right now today in the 40 minutes that was just what? Like sexual orientation, gender, the designations, anatomical, biological, and there's a lot of other things. And also the anatomy stuff. Anatomy stuff. So tomorrow we will speak about my friend over here. Oh, and if you have a name for my friend, if you want to name her, him, it, this thing, my pillow. If you want to give me a name to name her, it, my friend, then feel free to send me a name in the comments or whatever else. And have a beautiful rest of your Monday. And also wear a mask, wash your hands, sanitize your hands, and love your family. And not even your family, just love everybody. All right? Thank you.